Hi there, my name is Amy Belgart, and I blog over at momspark.net and have for about 4 years now. And I also own Momspark Media, which is a social media consulting and marketing business that connects bloggers with brands. Now, I wanted to share with you a little bit how I got into doing product reviews and giveaways on my blog. And it's kind of a long journey, really. It's not something that just happens overnight, and it certainly takes practice and time and a little bit of experience to get into doing. I want to begin with where I was as a blogger when I decided that I wanted to get into doing product reviews and giveaways. Um, I didn't start my blog as a career. I really just started as a hobby and as an outlet to connect with other moms and to just release my creative side, my writing side, and really to learn from other moms as well. So as I got into the space and I started reading more mom blogs, I realized that moms were reviewing products as part of their articles. And I never even knew that that was a possibility and never thought about it before. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense because I was the adult in the household making financial decisions. I was the adult in the household that was doing the shopping, that was doing the majority of the cooking and cleaning. And so I figured this would be perfect for me. So what I did is I kind of looked around at a few mom blogs, kind of read about what they were doing and how they were writing, and try to decide how to get into it. I really didn't know, and I didn't know a whole lot of mom bloggers at that time to reach out to. So I did something very stupid and idiotic. I saw a mom blogger was giving away a flip cam, which was like the mecca of giveaways at that time for me. I just thought, I can't believe that they're reviewing a video camera. That's so cool. And then they get to give one away to the readers. How that's even better. So I I remember DMing a blogger on Twitter and asking her, "Hey, can you give me the contact information for the PR firm that you're doing the flip cam giveaway with?" And I didn't even think or know that that was inappropriate or like crossing a line. I didn't even know the blogger very well. And of course, she didn't respond. I mean, it was dumb on my part, but it was a lesson that I was glad that I learned because then I realized that I really just have to start at square one. And what square one was just, for one, practicing on how to even write a review. I never really realized that it may be somewhat difficult. So at that point, I decided, well, I just need to start writing reviews about things I like. So how I got started doing reviews and giveaways on my own without any practice, I wasn't receiving any pitches at this point because I was a brand new blogger. Um, I started very, very small and very easy. I would purchase things inexpensively on the clearance rack at Target, Walmart, or any other cute things I saw at stores that were not expensive because I did not have the budget to buy a flip cam, for example, and then give it away to my audience. So I would buy like cute photo frames or candles or things like that, and I would just put it up into a post and give it away. And I started getting feedback and people interested in coming over, and maybe people who had never even heard of my blog before would come over and say, "Hey, she's giving away a cute photo frame, maybe I'll come over." And then they realized, well, I kind of like her other articles too, and then they subscribed. And so I started seeing why bloggers give things away. Not only is it fun, and there's nothing better than giving something cool to a loyal fan of yours, but it also increased my traffic and it increased my subscribers. And it just brought in new readers, which was to me the most, beneficial of all. So I did that for a while, and then I decided that some of those things that I would buy, I could also write a review about, or just things I already had on hand, I would write a review about. So if I liked a kitchen appliance or something else around the house that I used on a regular basis that I really, really liked, I remember talking about Baby Einstein DVDs because my baby at the time was just infatuated with them. He loved them. And so I wrote about how much I love those. And it got me a lot of experience in writing a review, which is really a craft on its own. I mean, it's not as easy as you would think. It's a much easier to talk about the reasons why you like it, but to write it and to make it sound authentic and genuine is really kind of difficult. So I got lots of practice writing about the stuff that I bought and the stuff I was already using. And what that did is it gave me essentially a resume of reviews that I could then show to potential brands or businesses for potential reviews. And so that was a stage of maybe 2 or 3 months that it was just a practice stage. And then it gave me a lot of content and practice that I much, much needed. So once I felt comfortable in my writing and I felt like I was a competent review blogger, I I wanted to connect with more businesses, and I still wasn't really receiving very many pitches. I wasn't on anyone's list or anything like that. So I decided to join some communities that specialized in connecting mom bloggers with brands. And many of those communities aren't even around anymore. And and now what's interesting enough is that I run one myself at momsparkmedia.com, and we give new bloggers review opportunities all the time. And it's great to be able to do that now, because when I was a new blogger, there weren't a whole lot of places to go. There were options, but there wasn't a whole lot of places to go. And sometimes I would join and I wouldn't get anything because I was inexperienced. So anyway, I joined a few groups and got a few little small things. And I also found some small businesses, specifically mom-owned businesses, that had products, but they didn't have a budget. They just wanted to give a product to a blogger and have them review it. And so at the time, that was a perfect option for me. And so I started slowly getting products. And it was interesting because I went and got a post office box so I could have everything delivered there so nobody would know my home address. And I still have that same post office box, by the way. And I would go every week and I would have all these things I signed up for. And it was very, very exciting. So I was finally on track. I was finally connecting with some businesses. I was finally starting to receive some pitches because I had joined those communities and we were starting to get on lists, which is a good and a bad thing, because sometimes you don't want to be on everyone's list because then you get a lot of junk and you have to filter through the junk to get to the good stuff. But at the time, I was just grateful for any opportunities that I could get. So I was in a good place. I was getting a lot of new opportunities and new products to write about, and I was very happy. So now that I was officially doing reviews and writing reviews for real companies and real businesses that were sending their products to me for my opinion, I was in a whole different state mentally where I was before, where I was just kind of casually buying some things and reviewing things that I already owned and all this. Now I felt this huge responsibility to be very thorough in my reviews because they were sending me product to keep. And then my readers they trust me. They trust my voice, and I felt really kind of like, wow, I have a huge responsibility now. And so when I would go to write a review, and I'll never forget my very first review because it was for a book, and so I had to read the book, and then it took me all day to write the review because I wanted to be very thorough. I wanted it to be it was very long. I just didn't want to miss anything, and I was still kind of getting into the groove of writing, and it was at first a bit stressful because I wanted to do such a good job, and I wanted to keep doing it, but yet I want my readers to also enjoy it, that I probably totally overthought the whole thing, but I realized this takes a lot longer than I thought it would, and it was taking a lot longer than when I would just casually write reviews about the things I owned. Um, it took a lot more time than I had originally thought it would. And although I did enjoy it, um, I realized that I had to really think about the time it was taking and really schedule that time. Because what ended up happening was that I had signed up for so many reviews, and then I received all the products around the same time, and then now I had all this writing to do, and I started to feel very overwhelmed, scared, and uh, just really, really stressed out because I wanted to do such a good job on each one, and yet I had so many to do, and and so and I worked my way through them, and it was okay. And there are still times when I take on too much and then realize, why did I do that? So what I had to do, and it's so easy to do, and I know that I'm not the only blogger that is in that situation of taking on too much, and then you get it all at once, and you're just like, I can't do all this. Especially if you're a mom, and like me, I work from home, and I'm with my kids, and there's only so many hours in the day that you can write. And to write, you really need a clear head. You need to really be in the zone, and distractions and things like that make it very difficult. So what I had to do is I had to really schedule out when I was going to work on writing a review, when I was going to publish it, and I would stay in contact with the contact or the PR rep or whoever it was that I was communicating with on the review, and let them know, here is when I plan on doing it. And I found that if I made a schedule, it didn't seem so overwhelming. I didn't feel like I had to do everything in one day. I could kind of stagger it out so that it wasn't so much of a task, and I didn't want it to be something that wasn't fun. And and so that really helped me by just getting organized. And also, started to become more careful about what I would accept. I wouldn't just accept every little offer that came my way if I felt like, oh, well, I already have enough on my plate. I think I need to wait. And so that was a lesson learned, and it's something that probably every new blogger goes through and learns the hard way. And and I still make this mistake from time to time, even now, and it's okay. Just space it out. Don't feel like you have to complete all of your reviews in one day, because if you end up doing that, you're probably not going to write the best review. So just take your time. Staying true and authentic. And I know that that sounds very obvious, and we all want our blogs to sound true and authentic. But it's very important to remember that when you're writing it, because you don't want your readers to think, well, she received this free product, and so she's just going to say only positive things about it, and she has nothing bad to say because she received this free product, and blah, blah, blah. But that's not to say that you have to find something negative about it either. You just need to be honest. You also need to make the post interesting, like the best way to write it is to tell the story of how you used it. Maybe there was something funny that happened, or something awesome that happened, or maybe there was something bad that happened. Whatever it is, share that. And even if there's something negative about the product, be respectful when you're writing that. Don't be super negative. Try to just remember that the business legitimately gave you this product to try out, and while it may not be perfect, we don't want to be hateful either. So instead of writing, well, this is just a piece of junk and it has no purpose and this and that, maybe say, I wish that this product did this. I wish this product did that. That sort of thing. I just think that, personally, I think that's just a better review. And if there's absolutely nothing positive about it whatsoever, you may consider just reaching out to the business directly and just saying, I don't know if I want to write a review on this. It's really what you're comfortable with doing. If you're comfortable with just go ahead and taking the time to write it, and you have nothing great to say about it, then that's your right to do. I've had a couple of cases where I had a product break the first time I used it, and I would reach out to the company and they would gladly replace it, and then I was able to use it and it was just fine. Now in my review, I might say the first product that I received was broken and they replaced it, but those are all things that we just need to be transparent about. This is the real world. We are real moms and parents, and we want our readers, who are also moms and parents, to know the real deal with this brand. So staying really genuine and authentic is so important, and just never lose sight of that when you're writing your review. Another thing that's very important to include in your review, and what makes a review stellar, is having nice photographs. What you really want is a nice, clear, clean photo where you can really see what the product is or what it's doing. Maybe you could get a picture of it in action. Um, the best lighting is right by your window. And so if you can't get a good shot, really the flash on a camera doesn't make the photo look very good. So even if you can just put it by the window and get a nice clean shot, that's better than one that's really kind of hard to see. And also another thing is making your photos as large as you can, where it fits pretty into your column, your content column, and isn't really small. Sometimes I see these little tiny, and even when I was a new blogger, I used to do the same thing. I'd see these little tiny little photos that you could barely even see. Make them as big as you can. You don't want them overlapping onto your other columns. Make them as pretty as you can in your content column, and your readers will be very grateful, and the clients that give you the products will be very, very happy that you really highlighted their photos. Another thing that you may consider doing in your reviews, and I did this a few times in my early days, is to videotape your review. And it may not be a requirement, but if it's something that's really hands-on, like I had a carpet cleaner, and it was very hands-on, and so to show it actually pick up a stain off the carpet was very valuable. And also those types of videos, especially when they're put up on YouTube, get a lot of eyes on them who may be considering buying that product but don't really know if it works or how it works or if it's easy or if it's difficult. So there's many ways to draw traffic from that, and the client is ecstatic to see you use it and it's being used properly. And so video may be something that you consider when you're doing your review. And if you don't feel real comfortable on camera, you don't necessarily have to show yourself on camera. Just show the product and show what it does. And you could still write the content of your review in the post. You really want both, because some people don't want to watch videos, especially if they're reading it in a place where it's not real quiet and they can't really hear. So have both, have the video and have your content, and that way you hit both types of audiences, that one likes to watch videos and one doesn't. So that's definitely an option for you. So the next element I want to discuss is the giveaway portion. If you choose to do a giveaway with a product review, or maybe just a giveaway on its own, some things that it's important that you remember when you're organizing it, writing it, and the follow-up after. So some things that are very important to have in your giveaway are a set of rules, and those can be very, very simple, or they can be very long and complicated. It really depends on what you're comfortable with for your blog. Mine, I keep somewhat simple. I just put a deadline, which includes the date and time and the time zone so that there's no confusion. Also, I put if it's open to the USA only, or if it's open to USA and Canada, or maybe if it's open to all countries. Just depends on what your client or the brand that you're working with is comfortable with and what they can do as far as shipping. How the winner is going to be chosen is also something that you want to include in there. Random pick or best answer. Another thing that really needs to be in the giveaway post, and I'll talk about this more later because it also needs to be a part of review posts, but it deserves its own section, is a disclosure. So if you received a product in return for conducting this giveaway, list it down there, and just it can be as simple as I received this product in return for conducting this giveaway. Just be very simple terms. And I will brush on that more later as we get to that section, but just always remember to keep that disclosure in there so it's very clear that you were either compensated with cash or product or whatever it was, or maybe you weren't compensated or maybe you didn't receive anything. Just put it in there so it's clear and that you're covered. Another thing that you want included in your giveaway post is how people enter the contest, and you want to be very clear about that. And most bloggers have their contestants leave a comment as a mandatory entry, and you could say, just simply leave a comment saying whatever you want, or answer a question, or tell us why you want to win this. Anything like that is fine. And then most bloggers also have secondary entries or optional entries, and that can be follow me on Twitter or blog about this post or whatever it is. Whatever you decide is an extra entry, can just be very careful that it's legal and it's good with Facebook and all of those things before you move forward. After you run your giveaway and it has expired and you have all of your entries there in your comments, it's really good to kind of go through those if you can. I know sometimes when you're giving away something of high value like a computer and things, that the comments become overwhelming. You have so many. It's good to go through those and make sure that there aren't any illegal entries as best you can. Obviously, no one's perfect, and you may look over one or two. I think it's very important that you at least try to glance over them at least once, just to make sure that there aren't any dummies in there or double entries or things like that. And once you've kind of cleaned them up, there's a couple of different ways that you could choose your winner. With WordPress, you can use a plugin, and I think there's even more than one. The one that I like is called And the Winner Is, and it will automatically choose the winner for you. And you could kind of double check to make sure that that winner did indeed enter properly and is a legitimate contestant. And then you could contact your winner and make sure that they contact within a reasonable time. I usually say, please contact me within 48 hours from receiving this email. And if I don't hear from you, I'm picking a new winner, because sometimes you just don't even hear anything back, which is very interesting. So set some guidelines just in case so that you're covered. And so there's the plugin option, but not everyone uses WordPress. And so another option would be to use random.org, which basically just generates a random number. So you put in the total number of entries you have, and then it will choose one random number for you, and then you will choose that number, and whatever comment number that is your winner. You just double check to make sure that they entered properly, and then you contact them and just go through the same steps with confirming them, and then getting their shipping information, any contact information you need to have their prize shipped. Now, another thing is shipping in itself. And when I was a new blogger and I was starting to do reviews and giveaways, I didn't realize that the PR firm that holds these prizes could actually ship my product to me, and then hold the winner's prize and then ship to them. I didn't know that, and for some reason the PR firms at the time when I was new would always send me the winner's portion too, and then I would have to go to the post office and ship it, which wasn't a huge deal, but that cost was then on me, and it took time to ship it when I was already spending all this time organizing the giveaway, doing the follow-up and all that. So now I only have the PR group or the contact directly ship the prize, and that is the best way to do it, because that way it's not handled more than once. It's just shipped one time, and if the shipping is delayed or anything like that, the PR group can handle that issue, and it's not on me. I don't have to pay for the cost. It's just better all around to do that. Now, one thing that can get tricky is if the PR group sends it out to the winner and then the winner doesn't receive it, and the PR group didn't have any kind of tracking or signature required, that gets a little tricky, because sometimes the winner doesn't realize that you're not sending it out directly, and they come to you with the problem of, I haven't received this yet, and you really have no way to also prove that they didn't receive it. And so I like to, recommend to my contacts that you really, if you have tracking on this, I know it's a little extra money, but it's a lot cheaper than replacing the product a second time. So that's something that you may consider and tell your contact about when they're shipping the prizes out. So something that wasn't a requirement back when I first started blogging was having a disclosure in your posts. That was something that came along later, and now we all know that this is something that you must have in your post. And so what I do is I have a blanket disclosure for my whole blog, and I found a website, disclosurepolicy.org, which has a general disclosure. And then I also have a disclosure that I use for each blog post that applies to. Obviously, if it has if I'm just writing about blogging or whatever, I don't have a disclosure for every blog post I do. But any kind of blog post that seems somewhat questionable, if I'm talking about a product or a brand or a service, I like to just be clear at the bottom of the post that I received a product for this, or I received compensation for this, or I didn't receive anything for this. So it's very important that you have that at the bottom of your posts. Even if you have a blanket disclosure for your entire blog, please, please, please add that extra one at the bottom of your post just to protect yourself, and so it's very clear. So now I want to talk about how you can promote your reviews and giveaways once you have them written and ready to go and published. One way is by your blog subscribers seeing it. And if you don't currently have a way for your readers to subscribe, do this now. Have something in your sidebar. You can do this through Blogspot or WordPress. These formats make it very easy to put a subscribe little button on your sidebar, and which is great because they see everything that you publish. So blog subscribers is one way. A second way is by promoting your article on your social networks, whether that be Twitter or Facebook, or if you did a video review, you can, you'll have that up on YouTube, and so people will see that as well. I would be very careful about overdoing it there. I would maybe, share maybe once a day, just a few times a week. I wouldn't overdo it, because then your readers will be, your followers rather, will be kind of, irritated that all you're talking about is this review or giveaway you've got going on. Lastly, for giveaways specifically, a fabulous resource is to list it on sites that specialize in promoting giveaways. So, for example, Online Sweepstakes is a website that does that. Prizey is another. There's several, and I have a long list of websites that do this on momspark.net. this is a fabulous way to get your giveaway going. Or if you're a part of a community that shares that type of information, we do that with MomSpark Media bloggers in our private community. These are great ways to get your giveaway out there and get people to sign up and to share it and things like that. So these are all great ways to market and promote your reviews and giveaways. So I just wanted to quickly go over something that we don't always think about, and I certainly did not think about when I first started blogging and when I first started doing product reviews and giveaways, is that the products that we receive to do these reviews, we may have to claim on our taxes as income. So, and I am not a tax professional, and I'm not here to give you tax advice. I would recommend that you hire an accountant, which is what I've done, and be very transparent about all the products that you have received, their value, retail value, and just make a list and make sure that you keep up with every year what you're received in return for reviews, because that's really compensation. Just make sure that you advise with an accountant or someone that specializes in home businesses or small businesses so that you can get proper tax information. A lot of times when bloggers are hired by brands or companies to write a blog post that may contain a review, that may contain promotional material, that may contain a giveaway, or they may be hired to promote the post that they write. All those things together and receiving cash is totally different than just simply reviewing the product itself. Just simply reviewing the product, you would just naturally receive a product in return, and that would be your compensation. But the at least the way I understand it, the way I work, is that if I'm being paid for something, I'm being paid for the other elements that I'm doing in addition to that review. So I'm being paid for the giveaway section and all the work that goes into running a giveaway, the follow-up, all of that. Any social media promotion that I do is part of what that cash compensation goes towards, especially if you have a lot of followers on Twitter and Facebook. That is value. That is advertising for them, the brands. That is marketing for the brands. That is something that you deserve to be compensated for. Or any just promotional material that's written in there that's not a review, it's just promotional material, whether it's promoting a sweepstakes that that brand is doing, or just whatever it may be. So keep that in mind, and not all bloggers will receive a compensation to go along with the review like that. That's something that took a long time for me to get to, and it takes a lot of time for bloggers to get to that point. And really, that's a whole other topic to get into, and of how to get compensated and things. But as it relates to reviews, I just wanted to try to clear that up. Some people look at review bloggers as not real bloggers, that they don't really have writing skills or talents. They're just, and some bloggers just do product reviews, and that's fine. But sometimes we're looked down upon for doing this, and I'm not sure why. There's so many different forms of blogging that there's room for us all. And really, the very definition of a blogger is someone who shares their ideas, shares their opinion. So it could be on anything. So never feel like you're selling out or that you're not a blogger or a writer because you like to review products, because that just simply isn't the case unless that's really how it is for you. But for most of us, we just like to do it. We like to try out new things. We like to share those experiences with our readers. It's more than just receiving stuff. And that's not to say that there are bloggers out there that just like to receive the stuff, but I wouldn't say that that's the majority of us. I really don't. I really think that we just enjoy it. We love it. and it's beneficial to the brands we work with. It's beneficial to our readers. There's a lot of times that um, review bloggers get invited to speak directly with brands. I have several times, and I know a lot of ladies that have done the same because they really value our opinions of what we think about their products or services. So it's an important job, in my opinion, and don't ever listen to any negativity out there about how review bloggers aren't important and that we're not, we can't be taken seriously, because we can, and it's okay if you enjoy it to do it. I mean, let's face it, we, especially moms, I do all the shopping in the house. I do most of the cleaning, I do most of the cooking. um, Products are a part of my life. Products are a part of many moms' lives. It's not unnatural for me to talk to my girlfriend about why I liked this particular cleaner, or even a tech gadget such as a laptop or a smartphone. I mean, it's just not an unnatural thing for me to talk about. So why not translate that to my blog? So really, I just want everyone out there who's thinking about getting into review blogging, or maybe you're already doing it, that don't let anyone make you feel uncomfortable about doing it or embarrassed about doing it. It's a legitimate job. It's a legitimate form of writing. It's a legitimate skill and talent. So keep up the good work. I want to thank you for joining my session today, and I hope you learned a little bit about how to get started doing reviews and giveaways. And for more information on MomSpark Media, which is a great resource that offers classes to new bloggers and seasoned bloggers in blogging and social media and marketing and such, and also how to get opportunities for reviews, giveaways, and paid opportunities, visit momsparkmedia.com. And if you want to come and read my own blog, you can visit me at momspark.net. So thank you very much for joining me, and I hope to see you around.